So I just want a bit of background actually. It is the anniversary, so how did the choir initially get together?
So in 1991, Angels Tube Station, a group of men just got together very much as an impromptu gathering, and they just sang together, and they liked it, and they just formed a choir. And there was obviously a need at that time as a social group really, and it's still very much got a social component now, even though it's a musical group. And it grew from there, from 9 men at Angel Tube in 1991 to over 200.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a massive snowball effect.
It is, and the waiting list is huge. It's like 300 on the waiting list now. And every time we do something like a concert, we get, there's a spike in interest in joining the group. So we're in demand.
Excellent. That's really good. So on a serious note, how did you kind of hear about Orlando? Do you remember hearing about what happened?
Yes, I mean it's very poignant actually. We had a concert, one of our Silver Jubilee concerts called History at Cadogan Hall, and we were actually at the after show party, so at the after party, and we got news of the shooting. But at that time, the details of it was breaking news. It was sketchy, so it was really on the Sunday after our concert. And normally I would send out an email congratulating the guys, but of course that news sort of changed the tone of everyone's thinking. So instead we just galvanised a group to gather at the vigil, which was very impromptu, but over 100 of our members turned up, which, considering they'd just done a big concert the day before, normally they would have a couple of weeks off, but we gathered for the vigil on the Monday, straight after our concert.
What was the mood like at the vigil? I mean, I've seen footage of it. It was very moving.
It was very moving, and to be honest, a lot more people than I had anticipated. I mean, of course it was a big and shocking event, but it was in the US and we're in London, and of course there is a sense of a global community, LGBT community, which is nice. But I'd anticipated a few hundred, maybe 1,000, but I mean the whole of Old Compton Street was full, and all the adjoining streets as well. And it was somber, but it was also, there was a sense of solidarity. It wasn't people just wanted to be together, I think, and the fact that the choir are a very tight-knit community anyway, they just wanted to be together, and they joined in that moment, and we sang just after the silence. It just felt the right thing to do. It was really.
So was it kind of planned that you would be the first people to kind of
to sing?
Yeah, after the silence.
No, I mean one of our members, Chris, actually attended a meeting earlier in the day about the vigil, because obviously it's closing the street, so the police were involved in just logistics and safety, and there wasn't very much cohesion in that meeting. It was a bit ad hoc, and Chris called me up afterwards, and I said, well look, let's just see who turns up. We'll plan. We had a conversation about what songs we might sing, and we would just sort of reread the mood. So we met at the Admiral, we met at a pub which I can't remember on the end of Old Compton Street, and we had a rehearsal, and then I just said, well, let's get out into the street and find a spot, and by then it was already absolutely sort of a mass of people, so we just found a spot, and it just felt right to sing at that moment, and it seemed to the people gathered seemed to really warm to that as an idea. I mean, the silence was amazing. The fact they listened for so long and then applauded, which was a really nice response, I thought.
Yeah, well, it must have been quite emotional.
It was very emotional. I mean, it was because of course there was no. What was nice is there were no speeches. There were no one sort of banging a drum or making a political statement. There was just a gathering of people, and I think solidarity, clearly was the overriding kind of feeling, and then there was a silence, and they released the balloons, and I kind of looked at Chris and I'm like, should we sing, and we just did. And normally at events, I mean not events like that, but at other public events, people would listen for 30 seconds, 40 seconds, and then, but everyone just was absolutely captivated for the song Bridge Over Troubled Water, and also for a second song as well. People, I think, they really liked the fact that there was music, because it's a movie, it's an emotional sort of outpouring. I think people really, really appreciated it.
What was it like for you seeing the footage afterwards?
Well, weird. We had no, it's not about the London Gay Men's Chorus. We were just happy to be there as a group, and but of course the footage was huge. I mean, I had no idea that would happen. In fact, it was even later that evening somebody said, "Oh, we're on the sort of 10 o'clock news or whatever it was," and of course there was that aerial shot that you probably saw, which was very impressive, just to sort of see the group, you know, in that identifiable blue t-shirts in amongst the crowd, and the sound from up there was wonderful. Yeah, from a distance, it was really.
So now you're going to release that song.
Absolutely.
And tell me where the money's going to go, or the idea of it.
So the idea was, at the concert I previously mentioned, we'd actually sung Bridge Over Troubled Water with the Orion Symphony Orchestra, and we'd actually planned to record the whole concert for our Silver Jubilee CD. And because that song just fitted the moment, we had a quick discussion about potentially releasing it and raising money. Everyone was in agreement. We worked pretty fast to make it happen. And the money is going to Equality Florida, which is the charity obviously in Orlando. And we decided that actually it would be right to split the funds between a UK-based charity as well. So we chose Gallup, which is the LGBT anti-hate crime charity in the UK. So the funds, you know, obviously 100% of the funds goes between those two groups. So we hope that a lot of people buy it and that money is raised.
Excellent. I think that's kind of great. Did you do Pride and stuff like that as well?
Yes,
as a group? Yeah.
And actually, I mean, there was a different. It wasn't. I mean, it was still a celebration, but there was certainly a. I think there were probably more people, certainly from the chorus on the march, and you kind of wonder why. I'm sure that had an effect on it, because, you know, it's such a big thing in the community. So yeah, we all did Pride and partied away and sang Bridge Over Troubled Water on a loop.
How many
it's not
times?
a very good marching song, maybe. It's a bit slow.
How many times do you think you've sung it now?
The song? I'll go for 100. I don't know.
That's lovely. Thank you very much. That's great.